Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Jordy here from Jordy Tarot and Sandy from Sandy Uncaged Talks Astrology.
Hi.
We're going to talk about the Virgo Full Moon, which is happening on March 3rd. And this full moon in Virgo is the latest in our moon mapping series, where we talk about the new moons and full moons here on YouTube. So the Virgo full moon has some big themes that are central, like that kind of go well with health, mental health, and physical well-being. So we will be talking a lot about that today and how you can work with this moon and lean into this energy and explore it to help with your own health and healing journey, as well as your manifestations in general. We've got a few tools that we want to talk about today that can help you in regards to working with this Virgo full moon. And we're going to pull some cards and talk about the astrology of this moon today. So hope you stay tuned. And thank you for being here today. And don't forget to like and share and subscribe to our channels, because we're going to be here posting more videos. And if you haven't had a personal reading from myself or Sandy either before, and you're curious, the links will be in the description box of this video. All right, Sandy.
All right. So it's been so interesting as we approach this full moon in Virgo. It is conjunct my personal moon, which is in Virgo. And so what Virgo has showed me ever since I started learning about astrology is that it's associated with our health. And so if you notice here, the moon is over here in Virgo and the sun is over here in Pisces. And in the middle, we have Earth. So it's the sun shining directly on the moon, bringing things to light that are in either we can see them in our everyday or it's in our subconscious. And this sun is conjunct this Mercury in retrograde that everybody's probably been hearing about for the last week or two. And with Mercury in retrograde in Pisces can be a bit delusional, and it's also associated with mental health. So there's things that can be coming up right now mentally that have to do with our health, whether it's our physical health or our mental health. But what I've been learning with my Virgo moon and my health is that there's something called the mind-body syndrome. So it's dealing with our mental health and it's dealing with our physical health, and it's making the connection between the two. And so the mind body syndrome is suppressing emotions that we've been carrying our whole entire life, and then it comes up in our physical body as physical symptoms because mentally our body doesn't think that we can deal with it emotionally. So it's making us deal with it in pain, but we're not actually dealing with it when we're going to the doctors and getting all of these tests, because they don't see the mind body end of it. And there's a lot of things that come up with the Virgo moon that we need to let go of, like control, like perfectionism, criticism with ourselves and with other people. It shows up in these physical symptoms like knee pain, swelling, ankles, back, shoulders. All of these things have affected me in the last 7 years. And it's my Virgo moon that I go to figure out what it is that I need to mentally let go of. And then when I do that, it goes away. And if I don't
Wow.
deal with it properly, it comes back in another symptom. So I think my goal with this full moon, and it's been pushing at me all week, is that we want to bring more awareness to other people that they have this in them too, and how to work with it and how to work with these symptoms like the criticism and the OCD and the perfectionism, which is OCD, but the controlling, right? Like we need to have faith that other people are going to have to take care of their own issues. We can't do that.
Yeah.
We have to sit back and watch sometimes and be like a third party.
Yeah. I really love that with this Virgo full moon, it's an opportunity to look at what we're thinking about and then change, hopefully change physical symptoms in our body. That's like really powerful manifestation work. We can't ignore our health in our manifestation goals and journeys because our health is part of our life. It's part of the contributing factor to getting things that we want to have in our life. We need to have good health in order to enjoy them, even. So, very powerful. Uh, One of the things that you and I were talking about before we even started this reading was how our thoughts are in our mind and they manifest as symptoms in the body. It's because of these suppressed emotions that are not being dealt with. And I've learned from my TCM, traditional Chinese medicine studies and acupuncture studies, about where some of those emotions are affecting different organ systems in the body and creating different symptoms. So you can actually get very strategic and scientific with this Virgo full moon when you recognize that, like, because of all this Mercury and Pisces energy, like because of all the delulu that is kind of like floating around in the astrology right now, like you can recognize your own like thought patterns that are like not necessarily perfectly correct or healthy or beneficial to you. And then you can see which emotion is attached to it and then pray for that emotion to be healed, or actively do some shadow work on that emotion to kind of like release it more. So it's a really powerful moon to, create a big shift in our life, especially with our health, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, and like you with your Chinese medicine, you've helped me even work through some of my ailments that come up with this Virgo moon, like the control part of it, the fear. It was in my foot, and then I went to see Jordy, and there was something in my back, and with his knowledge, it really helped me to understand even beyond astrology how this was affecting me physically. But it was coming from here, and there's been a lot of journaling around some of these symptoms, and the control is really hard. And for people who have strong Virgo, control is a big thing, or Taurus or Capricorn, because they're those earth signs. They're stubborn, right? They want things done a certain way. But one of our biggest lessons is to learn to let go of control, controlling our day to day, controlling other people. Like where I first really started noticing this was in the relationship with my children when they were teenagers, because I didn't know what they were doing. And they were struggling in school, and I needed to be in the school and trying to help them. But you can't help them sometimes because they got to do things their own way, and they got to learn from their own mistakes. And that's really hard to do for a parent, let alone somebody who has these placements in an earth sign, right? So, and then it shows up in physical health. My health then was not good at all. And so that's when I started this journey of understanding the law of attraction with their thoughts. When we're fixated on those pains, aches and pains, we develop more of it. And it's hard to get out of that habit because we are in pain. So as soon as we feel the pain, we're like, oh my God, my knee hurts, my knee hurts. And you keep saying that. And then it just makes more of it. And then I started roofing after I did that. And my mom kept telling me, "What, can you do that? You've been so sick for so long." And I was determined. And it was all about my mindset. I would climb that ladder to go up on the roof, and I would mentally tell myself, I am healthy, I am strong, I am made of steel. And I would repeat that to myself over and over again. And eventually, all the aches and pains in the knees and the back, it didn't bother me anymore. But I had to change that mental mindset. And that comes back to that Pisces Virgo opposition. It's you've got to work with your mind, but you got to do it
Yeah.
positively. And that's how we talk to ourselves critically. It's really about how we talk to ourselves. So with this full moon, if any of us see this pattern within ourselves where we're constantly talking negatively about ourselves as a person or about our health, we need to start saying it in a different light, that it's positive, so that we can start to feel better mentally and physically. And Jordy was just talking about the prayer, and we can get more into that. And one of the other things that I've just learned recently is a technique that's called, which is about it, it's very similar to what I was saying, like when I get on the roof, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm made of steel. It's SOS. I've learned it through the Brahma Kumaris community. And it's when you have a negative thought, you stop, you observe what you're feeling or seeing or how you're reacting. And if you're feeling physical pain, stop, observe the pain, and think about what's happening in that situation that could be triggering that pain, which could be you trying to control something, or um, maybe you are trying to micromanage something, and it could be something from the past. And then, so with this, you're going to steer in an opposite direction. But if that doesn't work, then maybe you need to sit down and really think about where it's coming from in your past. Maybe you need to write about it. I find writing about it brings up more things than just thinking about it,
Yeah.
right? For me, the control was a big issue. It was showing up in my foot, and I learned that it went all the way back to when I was in the hospital as a child. But me being in the hospital a couple years ago is what started the pain in my foot. It had been suppressed for a really long time, but what it come down to is I didn't have control of my life. And when we feel that way, evidently, it can come up in health symptoms.
It can. Yeah, like control can be an Achilles heel. Like I think that what's beautiful about this Virgo full moon is it's giving us opportunities to have these conversations around different ways to approach health.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's really, there's so many ways it can be approached, but especially with the Virgo and the Pisces, it's definitely with the mind body connection. It's kind of like what we've been focusing on the most in this situation and then in this talk today. And I really like that, like you and I both have experience in our own health journeys with some of the things we've been suggesting today. um, of like seeing how when we release the control, we feel better symptoms, we feel relief to our symptoms, and also using the prayer, using the SOS, like they're both different methods. SOS is like using your mind to kind of like make sure things don't grow out of control with your beliefs. And the prayer is also using your mind to open up to new possibilities and asking for help and all that. So there's a couple of different things you can do in this to help with your health with the mind body connection, which is really powerful. Um, but it's interesting that the word control keeps coming up. I think we should pull some cards on that. Like,
Yeah, let's
should
do that.
we pull some cards on like what are we controlling or something? Like
Yeah.
what can we like lose control, like loosen our control or perfectionism on to like help with our healing or something like that. Okay.
Yeah. And Jordy's technique about the prayer and with the SOS, I think they go hand in hand. When you
Yeah.
observe something, you see what's happening in you, then you can offer the prayer or give the prayer based on what you've observed to help to let it go. I think they go
Yeah,
really good together.
they do. It's like it could be a two-step process for sure. Because why not, right? Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, the card that came out was the prayer card.
Oh,
Like they're literally praying.
yeah.
This is a
I
really
got
good
the
healing card. What did you get?
Seven of Pentacles.
Oh, that's great. They're good for health.
Yeah. It's funny because I wrote down something for us to talk about, which has to do with rest. Like, because we are in Pisces right now, we are meant to rest and to make more time for us to rest. And that's another thing that Four of Swords is associated with.
It is, yeah. It's almost like there's more growth when we do rest than when we don't.
Yeah.
With that Seven of Pentacles.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. Because it makes us slow down.
It does. And we were asking right before we pulled these cards, like how can we release control or work with the control energy? And it's simple, like it's rest, it's prayer, like we were talking about, which is beautiful. And with your card, it's like, you're still growing, you're still working on it by doing these things,
Yeah. But you can see it. You can see all the hard work, right?
Yeah.
You can see it turning into what you've been envisioning. Oh my God. So if we change our mindset and we start seeing ourselves how we want to be, then we will start to see it produce.
Yes.
And it's okay if we stumble or fall or forget. That's human. It's human nature. But we just put ourselves back on track again, and we just keep trying, because it does take time to put these patterns in and create a new groove. But as long as we are kind to ourselves and forgiving, then we can continue to move in the direction that we want to go.
And the body and the mind knows how to heal itself, So just by giving it permission to do so, and then visualizing what it is that we want, it does come in, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful. Did you pull another card?
This one flipped over.
Oh yeah, what's this one? Queen of
King of
Cups?
Cups,
King of
which goes
Cups.
nicely with that Pisces emotional, sensitive energy.
Mm.
Virgo tends to be associated with hypochondriac, which is kind of not kind of, it's associated with everything that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And Pisces is the emotions, and Pisces is sensitive and empathic. And so a lot of times people are called hypochondriacs. And I feel like this affects a lot of the people that are in healthcare,
Yeah.
because they could be empaths, so they're instinctively wanting to nurture and care for other people who are less fortunate than them or sick. So then when you put yourself around those people, you start to feel their symptoms, and you become a hypochondriac because you're fixated on helping them with their illnesses.
Yeah.
And so this full moon can also help us to recognize when we're doing that.
Yeah, like the fear of illness,
Yeah. And if we are feeling symptoms that are not normal to us, stop, think about who you are around that could be having that physical pain,
Yeah.
and then let it go.
Right. That's so true. That's a big topic in itself, because I am an empath. You know that you're an empath, and we've talked about this many times. We pick up on people's energies, and it affects our own body
Yeah.
or mental health,
Oh, big time.
right?
I worked in
Especially
healthcare for
mental
6
health.
months and I couldn't do it anymore because it was making me depressed. I was feeling all these people's symptoms, but I didn't realize it at the time that that's what was going on. I just thought it wasn't good for me. I might be able to go back and do that now, knowing what I know now, and be more successful at it. But yeah.
If from someone who is kind of like the opposite of a hypochondriac, like I'm like I'm like I'm not a hypochondriac. Like I'm one of those people that'll be like, "Oh, you're sick, cough on me." Like I literally like am one of those people, and maybe I'm just lucky with like my immune system, probably, and I do sleep well, and like I sleep regularly and I eat regularly, so I do take good care of myself. But at the end of the day, like I do have this strong belief that like I'm not going to get sick,
And
and I'm
that's
not
key.
and I'm not fearful of being sick, because if I do, I'll just get sick a little bit. I won't get sick that much because I'm strong, do you know? Like, or I'll
Yeah.
heal. And I've been sick, like, believe me, I've still gotten really sick with this attitude, and I have healed. So, like, I do feel like this is also when you spring up hypochondriac, I'm just giggling to myself. I'm like, I probably could use a little bit of that, you know, because like,
But if you didn't have that mindset, if you had the mindset, if you're around somebody who's sick, right? And you're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get sick. They're not washing their hands. They touched my whatever, right? Like, then you're going to get sick. It's
I
all the
know,
mind body syndrome, right?
yeah, I've seen it happen. So like I've just trained myself not to be that way, but
Because you've
and it
seen
doesn't
it
work.
happen.
Yeah, and it doesn't work for everybody, like that attitude, but it might help some people,
Yeah.
you know. Sometimes like it takes a lot to learn energetic boundaries as an empath too. Like
Oh, yeah.
you can believe that you're invincible, but then you pick up on people's stuff and you get slammed by their stuff, you know, like so there's a lot of
Yeah.
different complexity to it, but these are just a few suggestions that we're making today with health.
Anything. I just hope this makes people think about their own life, their own situations, their own health patterns. But I
Yeah,
wanted to mention, because we said, like, if you did work in healthcare or anything, maybe you're working with an elderly person, or just being out in public, right? And you feel like you're taking on somebody else's energy or their physical symptoms, to let it go. But you have to visualize that, right? Or and the better you get at it, you can just say it, I let that go. That's not mine, I let it go. But if you're in the beginning stages of this, what's really useful is, like, getting grounded, feeling the emotions or the pain, and just letting it drain out of your body. Or when you have a shower, imagine that energy, those symptoms flowing out of you. Another thing I really like to do, and I don't know why because I don't have any air in my chart, but I like to stand with my feet firmly on the ground and just imagine the wind blowing through me and blowing all those negative things out of my body. And then it usually works.
yeah. Those visuals are strong, and it can be really quick to work, which is really powerful. For me, what I like to do as well is I'll literally say like, you know, like that's not mine in my
Hmm.
head, and I'll I'll basically like ask for that to be removed from my body or from my aura in a quick way in my head, and then a couple minutes later I usually feel better too.
You can even pick it off you, like they
Yeah,
do in
yeah,
Reiki, right?
I've
Just
done that. Yeah,
put it in the trash.
yeah, especially if it really like targets a pain in an area all of a sudden. Healing
Yeah.
hands, right? We all have healing hands, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Very interesting.
it
Well,
is
this is a
cool.
great topic. I could talk about this forever.
Yeah, but I think we can leave it there though. Like,
Yeah.
we've got some good food for thoughts in this video, and if anybody wanted to connect with us more, you can always head on over to the Moon Mapping Academy on School. This is a place where Sandy and I have a community that we're building. It's free to join. It has free libraries that can teach you about tarot and astrology. There's moon circles that you can participate in, as well as a Moon Mapping 2026 virtual workshop, which the next one will be March 15th from in the evening time. I believe it's at like 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. or 7 p.m. or something like that on March 15th. So information on these workshops, moon circles, and all of that is in the Moon Mapping Academy and in the description box of this video today.
If this, what we've talked about, resonates with you, if you can associate with that, this full moon circle would be really beneficial for you, because what we do is we look at your chart and we see where this full moon and the sun is hitting, and it can help bring to light where you could be struggling with this mind body syndrome or things like control or criticism and perfectionism. It'll highlight that area of your life that it shows up the most, and it can give you that extra bit of information that you need to work through this full moon.
Yeah,
And
it would be great if you joined us the next Virgo full moon circle. That's actually going to be on March 3rd, which is the day of the full moon,
this Tuesday.
this Tuesday in the evening. So that'll also be available on the school platform.
And you
Yeah,
might notice between now and then too, some of these symptoms that you've been having for a while, like a knee or an ankle or back pain, could be flaring up because you're being triggered to figure out where this is coming from and to be able to let it go. That's what the full moons are all about, letting go. And so pay attention to your body, pay attention to what you're thinking about.
yeah, exactly. And we're going to work, and it's the full moon circle is a great way to get personalized attention and advice on this with your birth chart and with tarot cards. So I hope you take advantage of that offer. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Sandy.
You too, Jordy.
And yeah, we'll say goodbye to everybody. Have a nice day.